Hey mate, great question, and I can relate to this question a lot. So, here's my experience and here are my thoughts. The first thing I would say is, you know, when people kind of want to beef up a story, you need to remember the story must need beefing up. So, in other words, like, if you look at the very first five books that I've written, particularly the first three, they were short stories. They were 100 pages. They were about 15,000 words. Them stories were designed to be told in a short way, in a way that big beefing up is not necessary. So I didn't necessarily have to find a big way of beefing up them particular stories because obviously the story didn't need telling in a beefed up way. I could move along quickly. It was for 8, 9, 10 year olds. However, in my new novel, the story dictates that there has to be a lot of beefed up situations. There has to be, like, a novel is 100,000 words. So I cannot tell this story without finding a way to beef up paragraphs, scenes, beats, and stories, and so on. So, how did I go about kind of getting better at beefing up the story? The first thing I would say is I've read a lot more. So, in terms of the actual topic of my new novel, I would have read a lot of books on the topic to make sure that I know the world very, very well. So that when I am writing the scenes, I'm able to tell the readers the story in a beefed up way because I have a big knowledge of it. Second thing I would say is, like, for example, in a story, you're going to know what's going to happen in your story, but remember, your readers don't know what's going on. So you need to be able to tell them literally nearly everything. Hence the fact that you have to beef it up. So in other words, if I'm describing a particular scene where I'm down, let's say in a woods, I might know exactly what's going on in my head, but remember, the reader doesn't know what's going on in my head. So I have to beef it up. I have to literally more or less explain everything that the character is doing in that moment, what they're thinking, feel, what they're wearing, and so on. So I would say read a lot more. Reading will actually help you fuel your beefed up version of the novel. And I would say, obviously, make sure you know the actual story you're writing very, very well. And probably the third thing would be, just to do a bit a day. Don't be kind of thinking, oh God, I have to, write 100,000 words and so on. Do a little bit a day, but don't rush it. Make sure that you kind of you beef up the little bits. And if you add all of them up, you'll actually be surprised with the amount of writing and actual words you come up with. So hopefully that helps. That's my own experience. But the number one thing I would say out of all them things would be make sure your story needs telling in a way that's beefed up. For example, if you're writing a short story, it may not dictate a lot of beefed up paragraphs and situations, unlike a novel. If you're writing a novel, however, like I said, I would read more. I would make sure that you know the situation very, very well. And I would make sure I do little bits a day and build on that, and you'll get better. So thanks very much. Have a great day, mate.